Ortiz was mentioned, but I'm not sure he wants the smoke. But there's other names on that around that area, so we'll see who we can get.
So Luis Ortiz and his team got offers.
I'd imagine so. I mean, like, the better person would be Adam or Sam to talk to.
Of course.
But yeah, that's in the back of my mind, that's what I can remember of the opponents.
So from in your understanding, he refused the fight. Luis
Yeah,
Ortiz.
yeah.
Okay. They don't want a war with a juggernaut.
You don't want a war. Big juggernaut, big juggernaut. Hey.
Those are the words of the juggernaut, Joyce, as he loosely explained that Luis Ortiz did not want the smoke. Okay. Now, looking at it, the title of that, shout out to IFL TV, but looking at that, it was basically Joyce remembering the opponents. I think he remembered that was an opponent, and he did not really say that Luis Ortiz didn't want the smoke. In the back of his head, that's how he felt, but he didn't really remember what went on. He just knows whatever, because Joseph Parker was an opponent. Luis Ortiz, was called out or whatnot. And obviously they didn't want it or whatnot, but he wasn't so sure. So I think to counterpunch this video, I think the person is to ask is Sam, okay, his manager. You know what I mean? Sam Jones. So that should be the person that you need to talk to in regards to the negotiations. Then we can get a solid answer. But I can tell you this. I want you to understand, if Luis Ortiz and his team turn down a fight with Joyce, this won't be the first time that shit has happened, okay? We recently heard a interview with Otto Vailene saying some of the same shit that Luis Ortiz didn't want the fight. Okay, so at this point, you got two options. One, Luis Ortiz is getting accustomed to fighting bums, okay, and doesn't really want to step up. Or two, his management team is still basically manipulated by Al Heyman, and Al Heyman has Luis Ortiz where he wants Ortiz until that fight with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury goes through. Because see, here's the thing. There's a chance. I want people to understand how this could work out and why this is the way it is. There's a chance Wilder will beat Fury. A chance. If Wilder beats Fury, then therefore Luis Ortiz can never shine, because he's not designed to shine. Okay? Like I explained to you guys on how talent works, how talent in politics. Like I'm an actor. If I'm signed with Jay Purvis in Atlanta, okay, and they have someone that's already booking that looks like me, they might want to sign me just to hold me back, just to keep him working or to keep him auditioning. So that way I won't be submitted or I won't have the opportunity to perform. Luis Ortiz could be in the same situation. Now, the sad thing about it, if you guys caught my live stream last time I went live, was I don't think Luis Ortiz is too business savvy. I don't think he's too bright. So a lot of fighters get fucked. They get taken advantage of. Because they can't see, like, these people that work or supposedly work for me are not best for me. See, all he's thinking, get me a fight. Yo quiero pelea. Solamente. Right? But the grand scheme of things, he's not thinking. And the bad problem is, if Herman Calcedo, right, if he doesn't think or help him, he helps him fucking translate, but he needs to help him with other business affairs. Just like Canelo and Reynoso, right? Reynoso is also the manager. So if Luis Ortiz was brighter, should I say, he would have Herman Calcedo as his co-manager, so he can at least look to see what the other management is doing to see if that's the best for Ortiz. Because understand, Ortiz's only problem is his age. It ain't his punching power. It ain't damn sure ain't his skill. You know, he's not slow like molasses in the wintertime. It's nothing about that. It's his age. So he doesn't have time to fuck around. So getting guys like Otto Vailene, Joe Joyce, Andy Ruiz, these are the fighters he needs to fight if he's gonna fight someone. And if not, fucking quit. If he's just fighting just to be fighting and he's fighting these bums, don't talk about how good Luis Ortiz is, because I don't want to hear it. Because if his objective is personal, if his personal objective is just to fight any fucking body, get out of the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Or just say so. Like, hey, I just want a check. Al Heyman's getting me fights to get me a check. Right? And at the end of the day, that's good enough for me because I take care of my family. Cool. Say that. Please. Por favor. But don't say, hey, I'll fight anybody. I'll fight tomorrow. I'll do this. I'll do that. And then you are talking this good game, but at the end of the day, your management team is not doing what you're saying you want to do or want to get done. So if by logic, if you see something, you can talk and people can tell you something, but you base things off people's actions. So if his company, his management team is not doing anything that he wants, he should reconsider getting rid of his whole team, because that shit back in 19 was unacceptable. $6-7 million was on the table. Okay, $6-7 million guaranteed is a lot better than, hey, the selling point for a pay-per-view, if you make the right amount of numbers, should be that way. That's almost like serving, like, hey, man, if you serve 8 hours with the cover we have, you should make $200, versus someone saying, hey, I'm going to give you $200 to work this day. Which one you're going to really do if you're worried about the exact amount? You're going to take the exact or the guarantee. See, that was no excuse his company did to him. And I have to reiterate that with people so you guys can understand what the fuck happened to Ortiz. Ortiz couldn't shine because Al Heyman is basically his management team. Those peons that work for Luis Ortiz, Jimenez and all those guys, they don't really mean him any good. I feel they don't, because the shit Jimenez said, is it Jimenez? I think it's Jimenez. Jay Jimenez, I think it is, right? The shit he did he went to social media on Luis Ortiz's main page, because I think he's a moderator, and said, hey, they undershot us. And then turned around and told Eddie, hey, we dropped the ball, we're sorry. Why would you do that? So that was purpose. Okay? He did that on purpose. That was his intent. He intended to do that. Intentionally. That's the word I'm looking for. He intentionally did that to piss off Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn was like, fuck it, I'm going to go somewhere else. This is Anthony Joshua. He ain't get his, people are getting in line to try to fight him. Some people were, right? Not all. Okay. But this is a trend with Luis Ortiz. You don't hear from the fucking guy, and then when you do, it's either too late, right? And it's like, okay, where were you a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And then you hear shit like this from Joe Joyce saying, which now Joe Joyce was a guy that ducked Ortiz 2 years ago, or he allowed his trainer to duck him. Abel Sanchez didn't want that fight. So I got to keep that in mind. You guys need to be educated the right way. Okay. Abel Sanchez did not like that fight for Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce was like, okay, we won't fight him. Right? Because he could have just said that, just like Shelly Finkel said, oh, he's a baby champion. And we didn't get any Vladimir Klitschko Wilder fight either, did we? So the same thing. So, I mean, and Wilder could have said something just like Joe Joyce could have said something like, no, I can beat this guy. Put me in, coach. Right? So, but now maybe they're admitting he's too old. But we should know something, because this is becoming too regular. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.